Hello and welcome back to the Lit Cave. This is Brian, and I'm here today to talk to you about a book that I read recently, and that book is The Young Elites by Marie Lu. So, this is my first attempt to shoot a book talk, and I had to kind of look up and see what the difference is between a book talk and a book review. And from what I can tell, essentially, a book talk is going to be a briefer look at the book that you're talking about with more of a spoiler-free environment. So that sounds great to me. I'm looking forward to doing this, and let's get started. So The Young Elites is a teen fantasy story that's about 355 pages, written by Marie Lu. Marie Lu is the author of the Legend trilogy, which I've not read, and I've really heard mixed reviews about. I've heard some really great things and some really bad things. And the thing that intrigues me the most about the Legend trilogy is that supposedly it's a retelling of Les Miserables. So I'm not sure if I want to pick up that Legend trilogy, but why don't you leave me comments below and let me know whether you thought they were good or bad books. And that may influence whether I decide to pick it up later in the year or not. Now, also, I said that this book is categorized as teen fantasy, and which is interesting. A lot of times it's something like that would be categorized as like YA fantasy, but this is categorized as teen fantasy, and I would say that it's a little bit more mature than a lot of YA literature that I've read. The story follows a young girl named Adelina Amuturu, which I probably just butchered the last name, and she exists in this sort of dystopian world where a disease has ravaged the world. And the disease that has come through has left some people permanently marked or scarred, and a lot of those that have these markings or scarrings have developed some sort of superpower or ability. And there are some people that kind of can take that in stride, and then there are some people that feel like this superpower or ability is evil. It's sort of demonic in nature. It's an abomination before God. And so there sort of becomes this tension in the society that revolves around these people that have the powers, and they call themselves, the people with the powers, call themselves the Young Elites. And so Adelina Amuturu is one of those that has been marked in some way. And she finds herself connected to this group of young elites and struggling with her identity, who she is she good, is she bad? And I think that the ideas behind this are really relevant today in our world where we're still really struggling with different issues of discrimination. You know, the headlines that we see just kind of connect with this idea. So first of all, how do we deal with our otherness if we don't quite fit into what's considered the norm of society? How do we deal with that? Do we try to change ourselves? Do we try to become more like everyone else? Do we accept who we are? Do we try to push this the idea that we are equal on everyone else? Do we fight for our equality? Like how do we deal with that? And then the other side, if we are part of society, is how do we respond to people's otherness? Do we accept them? Do we love them? Do we turn against them? Do we decide what's considered good or what's considered evil? Where does that judgment come from? And how do we react as a society? So there's a lot of sort of philosophical content in this book that can make you really think. And aside from that, it's just a really great story. There's great action. There's adventure. There's fighting. There's love and loss and heartbreak and joy and just all of that stuff kind of wrapped into one story. I've never read anything by Marie Lu before, and this was not necessarily the quickest book for me. I just recently read Sender, finished it last night actually, and that book I was able to read in about a day, two days max. And so I really, really loved the book and was able to just shoot through it. I couldn't do that with The Young Elites. It took me a few days to get through, but I did really enjoy it. It just, I don't know what it was about it. I just couldn't get through the content quite so quickly. But I do recommend it. I gave it 4 stars, and I enjoyed it. And I know that I'll definitely pick up The Rose Society, which is the sequel that's scheduled to come out later this year. And I'll expect and hope for good things from that as well. So if you've read The Young Elites, leave your comments, preferably spoiler-free, down below. And also, since this is my first time to shoot a book talk, leave comments below to tell me if this is along the lines of what you would like when I do a book talk, or if there's some things I could do a little bit differently. I welcome both the reinforcing feedback and the constructive feedback. I did want to introduce my helper who kind of wanted to make his YouTube BookTube debut. This is my son Jeremiah, who was helping me with this video earlier. So here we go. Say hi. Say hi. Ready? Hi. Can you say go Cowboys? That's right. Good job, buddy. Who's that? Who's that? Can you say Dada? Dada. All right, that was my son. I hope that you enjoyed meeting him. I know that he enjoyed seeing himself as we filmed this. And until the next video, see you same lit time, same lit channel.